Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks for joining me on another day as we study Proverbs. It's November 18th, so we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 18 this morning. Thanks for joining me, and I trust that you'll be able to find Proverbs as we look at that proverb today. That didn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Here we go. Proverbs chapter 18. As we lean into Proverbs 18, each day we make decisions. Some are large and some are small. And ultimately, we want to have a guide for making wise decisions because we want to be people that provide guidance for others and that we show that we have strong character. And if Proverbs teaches us anything, it teaches us many different aspects of wisdom, but ultimately our source of wisdom comes from our relationship with God. And hopefully, throughout these times and these days, your relationship with God gets stronger. As you lean into Proverbs chapter 18 this morning, I want to ask you a question. How many times have you voiced an opinion and you gave a rather strong opinion, and then you found out you didn't have all the information? And then you had that one word response. Oh, or oops, or oh boy, I really messed up. You didn't have all the information. And then you went and you said things you wish you could unsay. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13 tells us spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Ouch. I think we can all say amen to that. We've all been there where we've spoken, didn't have all the facts, and then we ended up saying something wrong. And we ended up looking foolish because the facts that came through ended up being something different. And then we had to try to clean that up. Let's walk through this together. Okay, Proverbs 18:13. Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. Lord, give us wisdom on how we use our words. James chapter 1 verse 19 says we need to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. We have two ears and one mouth. We should listen twice as much as we speak. That is not biblical. That is just good advice. James chapter 1 verse 19. Let's be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Making rash judgments or decisions before you listen or gather all the facts. So many times we hear one side and we just jump right in. We say that must be the truth, and boom, boom, boom. And then we make these judgments or these edicts or verdicts, and then we find out that we were wrong because we didn't have all the facts. Now, let me tell you that that also provides the truth that both sides are going to be willing to share the facts. So sometimes you have to make a decision because one side won't share, but do all that you can do to be able to get both sides of the story. No matter how thick or how thin the bread is sliced, there's always two sides. Let's try to get that other side before we make a rash decision. Many opinions that we have are based sometimes on facts and sometimes based on fiction. Sometimes they're spun. And sometimes we want to hear what we want to hear, but we don't always listen to what we need to listen to. So we need to make sure that we're quick to listen and slow to speak. Sometimes we rush to judgment and we make the wrong decision and we say hurtful or untrue things. It's like that object lesson of you squeeze all the toothpaste out of the tube and then you try to get the toothpaste back into the little part of the tube where it comes out at the top. And you can get some in, but if you step on that and that toothpaste squeezes all over the place, it's nearly impossible to get all that back in the tube. It's the same way with our words. Whenever we spout off before listening, we're stepping on that tube of toothpaste and it's squirting all over the place. And once you say something, you can't unsay it. And sometimes when we say things in the wrong way, it can cause damage and it can fracture relationships. When we respond quickly, it's oftentimes out of our emotion, and oftentimes our emotions are not the best guide or the best anchor or the best time to say something. And many times we wish we would have allowed our emotion to run out and then had the conversation with the individual. Sometimes we speak quickly because we think we have all the answers. And really, if we're being honest with ourselves, it's because we're full of pride. And pride leads to destruction because we aren't willing to listen. And that comes from Proverbs 18:12, that pride cometh before the fall. So let's not be people of pride, thinking we have all the answers, that we can make rash decisions. Let's make sure that we're ones that listen to the other side. Wise people, they gather information, they take time to process, they draw the conclusions. Perhaps you take time to gain counsel from others. Ultimately, we need to take time to seek God's guidance through prayer and through reading of His Word, and then we can make those decisions. Sometimes we have to make decisions that are quick because that's the nature of our job or our career. But sometimes, many times, the decisions that we can make, they could take time, and we can look at other sides and take time to process. So, the challenge for us today on this Wednesday morning is, let's be people who don't jump to conclusions. Let's be people who are listening to both sides of the story and then make a decision. Don't make a decision based upon pride or arrogance or listening to one side. Let's not spout off before listening, but let's listen to both sides, gather the facts, and then be able to help people. Proverbs 18:13. If we would practice this today, if I would practice this, if you would practice this, there'd be a lot less hurt going around because we're listening to get all the facts and then we're saying something. I hope that you're challenged by this proverb, and thanks for joining me on Wednesday. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow if my schedule allows. It's been a crazy week here in Heartland, so I hope that you're doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for another proverb a day. Have a great Wednesday.